Let's look at our notes for today. This is a foldable. Go ahead and write your name on it. And we are going to complete the sentence. So we have started Unit 3 now. So we are talking about relationships in math. So how one thing relates to another. So this is all about relations. So a relation is a set of ordered pairs. A relation can be represented by a set of ordered pairs, a table, a graph, or a mapping. I'm going to show you what each one of these are. A blank illustrates, so a mapping illustrates how each element of the domain is your x, so I'm going to put x above domain, is paired with an element of the range. Range is your y values. We're going to spend a lot of time on domain and range. That's a pretty important topic in Algebra 1. The set of first numbers of the ordered pairs is the domain. So that's your x. And put x on there. Domain x. The set of second numbers of the ordered pair is the range, y. So domain is x, range is y. So we have an x and a y, right, as our coordinates. We can graph ordered pairs on a coordinate plane where you have x's and y's. So let's look at the different ways to represent a relation. So we have ordered pairs. Sets of ordered pairs are always written with curly brackets around them. So see how we have the x and y? Here's one ordered pair, here's another, here's another, here's another. So there's actually 6 ordered pairs, and they make a set. So this little brace is called a set, makes it a set. So sets of ordered pairs are always written inside curly brackets. Each ordered pair is separated from the next with a comma. So these are sets of ordered pairs. We don't just have one ordered pair, we have multiple ordered pairs. So this is a relation because it just is a set of ordered pairs. The next one is an input-output table, or our T. So on the left side is x, on the right side is y. The input is always the x, the output is the y. So it's an input-output. You put something in, something else comes out. We could have a vertical table where you have x and y. So fill in like I'm filling in, just making little notes here and there. Or we could have a horizontal where you have x and y. So every x will match with a y. A relation can also be in the graph, coordinate plane, where your horizontal axis is x and your vertical going up and down is y. So you have points on here. So whenever we look at these points, the x coordinate tells you how far left and right from the origin, and then the y coordinate tells you how far up and down from the origin. So we start at the origin. Our first quadrant is this one, so put a 1 in Roman numerals. Quadrant 1 is all the positives, x's and y's. Quadrant 2 is negative x but a positive y. Quadrant 3 is where you have both negatives. Put them as Roman numerals. And then quadrant 4 is where you have a positive x, but you go down for a negative y. This point right here, let's write what the coordinates of that point is. I'm going to name it A. So point A, I'm going to put an A down here. Let's write what that point is. So we start at the origin, and we know we have to go right. So 1, 2, 3. So our x coordinate is 3. And our y coordinate is 1, 2. 3, 2 are the coordinates of that point. And then we'll name this one B. So for this coordinate, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right 5, down 1. So it's a negative 1. Okay, the next way to represent a relation is through a mapping diagram. So mapping tells us this is my input, which is also called x. So put an x over the top of the first oval. That's your input. And y is the output. So we can change this mapping diagram into ordered pairs. So we have 3. What does 3 match with? 2. Okay. We're going to do this little curly brace right here because we're making a set of ordered pairs. You do like an S, and then you just kind of bring it out like that. Comma, what's the next ordered pair? 5 matches with, let's follow the arrow, negative 1. Comma. The next one, negative 4 matches with 3. 2 matches with 0. But 2 also matches with 5, so we got to put 2, 5 in there also. And then it looks like the last one is negative 3, negative 1. Then close our curly brace. So for mappings, you're looking at input has an arrow to an output, and then that makes an x and y value, which is our ordered pair. Okay, let's go to the next page. This is all about domain and range. What did we say domain was? Yep. X values. And then what's the range? Yeah. So we'll make a list of the x and y values. So we look here. So our domain is going to be the set of all x values. So that means I need to make this little curly brace thingy. So the x values are 4, comma, negative 2, comma, 2, comma, and 0. And then close it with another brace. Then our range is the y values. So it'll be 3, negative 1, negative 4, negative 4. Since there's two -4s, I only write it once. 3, -1, -4. And it doesn't have to be in any particular order. Sometimes it's just written in least to greatest order, ascending order, but it doesn't matter. Go ahead and do the next example. Write the domain and range. So our domain is, oh, my little brace looks bad. 8, 4, 3, -7. And then my range, 7, 2, -4, -7. All right, let's go to the last part of our foldable. So example A, express the relation 1, 1, 0, 2, 3, -2 as a table, a graph, and a mapping. So they've given us ordered pairs, so let's translate it into table, graph, and a mapping. So remember on the table, it's X, Y. So let's go ahead and do it. So this would be 1, 1, 0, 2, 3, -2. Now make the graph. So 1, 1. Right 1, up 1. This is 1, 1. Then we have 0, 2. So 0 left and right, up 2. Then the last point is 3, -2. Over 3, down 2. Okay, now we need to create a mapping. So with the mapping on these, I'm going to list them in order from least to greatest. So for my x's, what is the smallest x value? 0, and then 1, and then 3. And then we're going to do the same thing with the y. What's the smallest y value? Then the next. What do we need to do to this mapping now? Draw arrows, yeah. So 1 goes with 1. 3 goes with -2. 0 goes with 2. Just make sure your arrow follows what x and y values are together. Now determine the domain and range of the relation. So domain is what values again? X. So let's list out our x values. This doesn't give me enough room. I write really big. So domain is our x's. The order doesn't matter, so you can write them in any order, or you can write them from least to greatest. 0, 1, 3. Then the range is the y values. Okay, now you are going to do the next example. This should say like 2A or something like that. I don't know why it says 1A. You can change that to a 2. Go ahead and do the next one. I'm going to give you a few minutes to work on that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and write down the table. And then plot our points. So you should just be checking it now. Okay, so far, did I do it right? Do you agree? So then we need to do our mapping. So on our mapping on the y value, there's only 2 numbers, right? Do I need to write the same number twice?
No, you can just draw a line.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll look like this. And then domain. So I'm going to write on here domain. Domain is what values? X. I'm going to ask you that all the time because that is something really important for y'all to remember. Okay, so -2, 3, and 4. Range, -1, 3. So you are going to glue this in the next page in your journal. Make sure y'all don't use too much glue because then things end up sticking together.